Hello, 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 hello out there, brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. We got a good show tonight. Very sensitive. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're going to get to this topic tonight. How some men view and how some women view children when it comes to getting married. The man and the single woman with children. We're going to jump into this shortly. Come on in, my brothers. Come on in, my sisters, so we can get to it. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It's going to be a very good show tonight. Very, very good show. Come on in, come on in. I hope that you all had a good holiday that just went by. Some of you all will be going back to work tomorrow. Some had to get on the road and go back home and all that kind of good stuff. I hope that you all had a good holiday weekend, my brother and my sister. So come on in. Come on in. We're about to jump into this topic. And I hope that you can really get into it. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? I see your John Hancock down there. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sisters. We're going to have a good show tonight. You going to enjoy this show, my brothers. You going to enjoy this show, my sisters. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I want you brothers and sisters to come a little closer because we're going to have a real nice show. How you doing, Cousin Reed? We're going to have a nice show. How you doing, Sister Flo Harvey Martin? Come on in, come on in, come on in. My brothers and my sister, you need to listen to this particular show tonight. It's very important. It could be very controversial, but I want you to listen to what is about to be expounded, not explained to you. So my brothers and sisters, come on in. I want you to come a little close. We got a lot of seats in the front. Come on and get a seat right in front of me so you can listen, not hear what I'm about to say, because this is going to be a nice show. By the way, my brothers, and by the way, my sister, this particular topic is going to be very sensitive, and it could be disturbing for some sisters because of the negative hidden thoughts that some men have, but not all men. I want you all to understand that. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Now, this particular show again, and this topic, it could be very sensitive, and it could be very disturbing to some sisters because of some of the negative thoughts that some men have, but not all men. I want you to keep this in mind. Not all men, but there are some men when it comes to marrying a woman that has a child or children, okay? And this is what we're about to get into tonight. And the topic for tonight is, should a man marry a single woman? By the way, for those of you that do not know me, my name is Tony M. Toom. I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship from a biblical position or standpoint. When I say biblical, God created the man first, that man being Adam. He had a unique and distinct relationship with Adam. He caused Adam to go to sleep. He gently went into Adam's side. He got a rib. He closed up the rib gently. He stepped to the side. With that bone, that rib bone, he created the woman. Then he represented the woman back to the man. At that particular time, the man, Adam, said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman because she came from man. And so it was. So if you don't believe in that kind of relationship, my brother and sister, I still encourage you to stay here and take something from the show, because you'll be able to. By the way, my brother and sister, go ahead and get your bag of popcorn and soda, courtesy of Sister Flo Harvey Martin. She's going to always make sure we get ready for the show. So thank you so much, Sister Flo. And now we're about to get into it. First of all, let's define a stepfather. According to the dictionary, a stepfather is defined as a man who is the husband or partner of one or one's mother after the divorce or separation of one parent or the death of one's father. The second word we're going to identify is a single mother. Now, what is a single mother? It is defined as a mother who does not have a husband or partner. So this is what a single mother is basically. It's a mother who does not have a husband or a partner. Now, We're going to build this. We're going to build this up, but how we're going to build it up first, we're going to go to the Word of God so we can get a little insight to God's thought about what I'm about to talk about. Then we're going to really get into it, okay? Now, as it is written in Mark 10:13 through 14, Jesus is saying this, okay? And when Jesus was saying this, he would run his apostles and some more of his disciples, and they were bringing children up to Jesus. Let's see what Jesus said, okay? As it is written in Mark 10, that chapter 10, 13, 14. Then people brought little children to Jesus for him to place his hand on them and pray for them. But the disciples rebuked them. That means that the disciples, they were trying to keep the children from Jesus, but that pissed Jesus off. It really pissed Jesus off. Jesus said this, let the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. When he placed his hand on them, he went on from there. So you got to see, Jesus have a very, very tender spot for all men and all women. However, Jesus really got pissed off when his disciples were trying to keep children from coming to him. Okay? Matthew 18:10. See that you do not despise one of these little ones. Jesus talk about children again. He said, key word, despise. See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you, their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. So what is Jesus saying? Jesus saying, they're angels. That means Jesus have guardian angels that be around children. Now, some people say, okay, if Jesus got guardian angel, why some children be abused and neglected and all that kind of stuff? Because I don't know. It's the will of the Lord, but I tell you this, nothing happened without the Lord allowing it to happen. So you got to understand this. The key word is in Matthew 18:10, Jesus says, see that you do not despise one of these little ones. He's talking about children. Brothers, he's talking about children. Sisters, he's talking about children. There isn't one child, my brother, there's not one child that came into this world by raising his or her hand. There's not one child that willfully came into this world on his or her own accord. The only child that came into this world on his or her own accord was Jesus himself. Jesus was in heaven and he came down from heaven in the body of a babe. Jesus, the only one that willfully came because he chose to come to fulfill the Father's will. Now, when a child or children come into this world, let's be very clear. There is no mistake. Because God does not make a mistake when it comes to a child or children. Because God is the one that gives life. If God doesn't give life, no one would be here. So when a child comes into this world, the child could come through single parent, where the mom and father might not be married, or the child could come with the man and woman being married. However the child got here, and if that child got breath in his or her lungs, that child came here for a reason. How you doing, Sister Harvey? They came for a reason. So there are no mistakes when a man and a woman from childbirth come into this world. So let's get this clear. There's no mistake. Now, when a man and a woman get together, the preferable way for a child to come into this world is for the man and the woman to get married. That's how God would like for it to be. But how you doing, Sister Joanne? But if a child coming to this world and the parents aren't married, it could make things a little difficult. But God's position is God will prefer the man and woman be married. If the man and woman is not married, you still got to look at it this way. God breathed life into that child. So God allow a child, a boy child, or a girl child to come here for his reason. I don't know all the reasons, but I know God doesn't make no errors, okay? Now, when it comes to society, let's set this thing up. When it comes to society, my brothers, when it comes to society, my sister, I must be one to admit that women get a raw deal. Now, when I say women get a raw deal, I'm not siding with women. I'm not siding with men. But when it comes to society and the world in general, and we're not talking about colors, races and stuff like that. We're talking about gender. When it comes to gender, most of the time, women get a raw deal. And we're going to center this around the United States of America, okay? Women get a raw deal, and there exists a great deal of hypocrisy when it comes to women and double standards. I'm going to say that again. When it comes to our society, I must admit that generally women in general get a raw deal, because I could see it. And there exists a great deal of hypocrisy and double standard. Like the topic that I'm talking about tonight, should a man marry a single mother? Now, there are some men that are single or divorced that already have children. But there are some men that already have children. When they're dealing with a woman that have a child or children, they have a problem with it. As well as some women might have some problem with a man that have a child or children. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, should a man marry a single woman? So we're going to, like I said earlier, this particular broadcast is going to be sensitive. It's going to be very sensitive, and it can be disturbing. But what I'm about to do shortly, my sisters and my brother, sister, I'm going to open you up to some conversation that some men have that you're not privileged to. Now, some of you are. If you go to something like YouTube, you ain't even got to go to YouTube, but you sit around some guys when they really open up. I'm not saying all guys. Let's get this. I'm not talking about all men. I'm not talking about all men. I'm not talking about all men, but I'm talking about a large majority of men. I'm going to pull the curtain back and let you see how some men think on this particular topic. Should a man marry a single woman? Well, before we get to marriage, we could start from dating before we get to marriage, okay? Now, single motherhood have grown so common in America that 80% of single parent homes are headed by single mothers. Nearly a third live in poverty. Once largely limited to the poor women and minorities, single motherhood is becoming the new norm. And these are facts, okay? These are facts. Currently, there is a growing trend of children being born outside of marriage, a social trend that was virtually unheard of decades ago. Let me give you a situation. For example, when I was younger, when I was in high school, when I was in, I could say I was in grammar school and going into high school, and some of you all might know about this. When a young girl got pregnant, and if she was in public school, I know where I live at, it used to be a school here where I live at where if a young girl get pregnant, that girl would be pulled out of public school and she would go to this one particular school that housed pregnant girls. Right here where I live at, when I was younger in grammar school and going into high school, but that got dissolved some kind of way. But I'm telling you, that was the reality, because it was like they used to get these young girls out of school that was pregnant. They could be very young, because their thinking was these young girls, they can influence other young ladies. You understand? So that was the logic behind it. But you see, the thing about it is, the young boys that got the girl pregnant, nothing happened to them. They stayed in school. But it was shameful when it came to young ladies getting pregnant. And that's a part of hypocrisy and its double standards. And I can also remember this. This came a little before me. Some young ladies, when they used to get pregnant, their families sometimes would ship them off out of town. That's what some families do. They would ship their daughters out of town if they got pregnant. And not only that, It's a most of it. And it used to be the thing called a shotgun wedding. Now this happened during my parents' time. It could be some shotgun wedding now. If you all don't know what a shotgun wedding is, this is what a shotgun wedding is. A shotgun wedding is an enforced, hurried wedding, especially because the bride is pregnant. That's whereas in the olden days, if a young girl get pregnant, it would like probably her family go to the boy's family and say, hey, your son got my daughter pregnant, so what we're going to do, he need to marry. And that was a shotgun wedding, and this is a reality. Now back to the question, should a man marry a single mother? I'm about to expound, not explain, but I'm about to expound to you, sister, the mindset of some men, not all men. Some men, not all men. Some men, not all men. So we're not going to put all men into a bucket and think that a lot of men think this way. But I'm about to pull the curtain back and tell you what a lot of guys think. All you have to do a lot of time, if you don't believe me, go on YouTube and put up something like single mothers. If you don't believe what some guys think about this particular topic, I'm telling you, once we get out, go somewhere like YouTube, and you might not have to go to YouTube, and type in there single mother. You can see where there are a lot of guys that have a problem with a woman that have a child or children. Now, what I'm about to tackle, I'm about to expound, open you up, but not explain. I'm going to explain some negative things that some men be saying, and I'm going to come back with something positive, okay? I'm going to explain the negative, then I'm going to explain the positive. Number one, negative. What some guys their thought processes. Some men view some women as easy to have sex with when there is evidence of a child or children. I'm telling you, that's how some men think. When they see a woman that got a child or children, some men think that she's easy game, and I could have sex with her. Now, that doesn't mean that a woman that doesn't have no children, she could be having more sex with men if that's what she choose to, and she doesn't have no children. But this is hypocrisy. Whereas on the other side, there are some men that they can have a whole bunch of children or a child and nothing is said to the man. So this is another form of double standard. They look at the woman as, I don't want to deal with her because she got a child or children. Whereas this man, he could have a child here, a child there, and he's all right, because this is how our society is. Number two, some men mindset is that child or children, how you doing, Sister Nisa? Some men, not all men, some men mindset is that the children aren't theirs. So if the children aren't theirs, they view this as, I'm not going to be responsible for it. I'm just telling you, sisters, how some guy be thinking, not all guys. If she got a child or children, if this man want to date the woman, I'm not going to take care of those children. There was some men saying, I'm not going to take care of those children because they're not mine. That's another man, so he is responsible. To tell you the truth, the father of those children should be responsible. But on the flip side of it, brother, if you decide to get with a woman that have a child or children, you got to look at it like those children were there before you came into the picture. However those children got there and the lady's single now, or she could be divorced or whatever, you got to look at it, brother. You can't separate those children from the mama. Now, there are some guys, they want the mother to, and they're not married. This is a key thing. It's some guys, they want to be the first priority of a woman, and she got children. So, brother, if this woman got some children, especially those small children, how can you expect to be first in order when you're not married to her? So, brother, if you dating a woman that's already have a child or children, naturally she's gonna have those children first in line before you. Most women will. But then there's another thing where some women, they will put a man before their children and they're not married to the man. So sister, that's a poison. If you have a child or children and you're not married to this man, you should never put this man before your children. You're not married to him. You can't play house with this man, sister. You cannot play house. So I'm telling you, do not do it. Now, there are some men, if they're interested in the woman, they will show some signs of responsibility, especially if they're planning on marrying the woman. You understand? Some will, because they look at it for how it is. She got this child or children. And if I'm planning on marrying this woman, these children, especially those small children, they're going to be a part of the package deal. You can't separate, brother. You can't separate the woman from her child or children. Now, there are some women, like I say, sister, some of you should not let a man come before your children if you're not married to him. And we're going to get a little into that a little later on. Number 3, some men don't want to deal with the father or fathers of the child or children. How you doing, Chain? You understand? Some fathers, they do not want to deal with the father or fathers of the child of children. That's how some men be thinking. Not all men, but some men say, I don't want, if she got this child or children, I don't want it run into this stuff and she having drama with this man or these daddies. You understand? That's how some men think. But on the flip side, there are some men that understand that child or children have a father, especially if that child or children is involved in that child or children's life. Brother, if you decide to get in there with the woman, allow that man to have access to his child or children. You should be glad, brother, if a man want to be involved with his child or children and taking care of his child or children, you ought to be welcome to it. Now, you got to understand, if there's some small children, brother, that mama going to have some conversation with that dad. You got to understand that, brothers. You got to understand it. If that mama have some type of rapport with that man and he's doing good by his children, you should not have no problem with her talking to that man. Now, there's another thing, sister. If you are in a relationship with a man and you're not in a relationship with that father, if you have small children, it's understandable that you need to have communication with him. But when your children get big and teenagers and stuff, those children should be able to talk to their father without you. I know that's a sticky point, sister, but if you have small children, yes, you are the mouthpiece for those small children. But once they get big and teenagers and you're in a relationship with this man and this man planning on marrying you, you got to understand, those are only the father or the fathers of your children. So you shouldn't even be having that much conversation. As a matter of fact, if that man have children too, he should limit his conversation. If they small children, it's understandable. He got to talk with that woman. And another thing too, if they are big teenagers, sister, the children and the daddy should be talking. Why would you want to keep communication with the children father? You shouldn't, unless they small. And another thing too on this, brothers, when the woman have a child or children, it's going to be some events that's going to be coming up. You got birthdays, you got Christmas, you got graduation, you got weddings and all kind of stuff, where you, brother, going to probably be running into the father or fathers if she got more than one baby daddy. You understand? You got to understand that she had a past before you. Like most of you brothers, you going to have a past before you met the woman. And this is a little sticky thing. Let me tell you this. How our society have it is like this. A man could sleep with 20 or more women, and society would give this man a high five. They'll pat him on the back and everything, right? But let a woman be known to have 2 men or be involved with 2 men. She is going to be called a garden tool. And you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a saw. I'm not talking about a shovel, but she's going to be called a garden tool. That's how society is. Society, like I just said earlier, when it comes to you sisters, I must admit this, that y'all run through some difficult times when it comes to living here in the United States of America. There is a very big double standard. And when I said there's a very big double standard, when it comes to being promiscuous or something like that, sister, you all going to get a tag. Let's just put it out there. You're going to be put a tag. You and the man can't do the same thing. I know it's double standards and it's hypocrisy, but you got to understand it, sister. That's how it is. Thank you, Sister Chan. That's how it is, sister. So you got to face it. Some of you sisters out there, you're saying, well, if a man could do it, I can do it. You don't understand. That's not how society works. You have to play the game. How you doing, mother and my sister? You have to be able to play the game, sister. I'm going to tell you. I'm telling you this. Well, we're going to get more into it. We're going to get more into it because I got some more things that I need to say. Okay? Number 4. Some men think about how the public will view them if it appears that the woman have an active sex life. You understand? They think about that, sister, whether you want to know it or whether you want to be familiar with it, even though it goes back to men can sleep with how many women they want to, and society will tolerate it. But with you all, If you have, sister, let me tell you this. Before I tell you, sister, let me tell you this. Brothers, let me tell you this. Here in the United States of America, and I'm about to be generous, okay? On the average, and I'm being very general, I'm going to go back to 18 years old. 18 years old. A lot of women have had sexual intercourse before you came into the picture, just like a lot of you have, okay? Let's not be no hypocrites and nothing like that, okay? She had a history. She 18. Not all women, but a lot of women. I'm just being general. I'm just using that as a starting point, 18. A lot of you brothers, too. So let me tell you this, sisters. As you grow, bro, let me tell you this. As from 18 on up, I know most brothers, sister, let me tell you this. Most brothers want a virgin. Are you aware of that, sister? Most men want a virgin. And some of you sisters saying, well, I want a virgin too. How society is, sister, most men want a virgin. Even though a man could be sleeping around with other women and have children and stuff. Most men, they're not going to tell you this, but they want a virgin. But this is a wake-up call, brothers, from 18 on up. Especially when you get to probably 20s, 30s or something like that. You probably going to meet a woman that got 1.5 children. And if you carry that 5 over, that's 2. Okay? As you get older, you're probably going to run into a woman that already got a child or children. So wake up, brother. Okay, wake up. They have a history. Like a lot of you have a history. So you need to understand that. She got to tolerate the fact that you got a child or children. A lot of brothers don't think that way. And this is not no beat down no brother or no sister, but I'm just telling you how it is. Or T-is, T-I-S. Yeah, that's right, Sister Flo, just being general. Now, yep, most men aren't virgin men, have history too. That's right, Sister Chang. So that's what I'm saying, brother. You got to be realistic and don't be no hypocrite. You know that you had a sexual past, even though you might not have no children, brother, but you still had sexual intercourse. But you might not have no child or children. Now, she got a child or children, which you know she had a sexual past, okay? But just because she doesn't have no children doesn't mean that she haven't had no sexual past. So, brother, you got to be realistic and know when you get up in age And the average right now, let's say 20, 25, and 30, they probably going to have one or two or more. Chain said, I had one child, my grown 31 years old daughter. Not all women have multiple children. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. But I'm telling you, sisters, especially those of you that don't have no child right now, I'm just telling you the reality of what's going on out there, how some guys think, but not all guys, okay? Not all guys think this way. And here go another thing, sisters. Listen up to what I'm saying, okay? Some men think about whether or not they will be able to discipline your child. Ooh, that is something. Can he discipline your child? Sisters, this is a very sensitive punch right here. Sisters, if you are deciding on getting into a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, let me tell you what some brothers say. They say, long as I buy them stuff and do good things for them, it's okay. But if it comes to discipline, that's a line right there. She just want to do the discipline. Sister Flo said, you got here now. Oh, wow. So, sister, let me tell you this. How you going to do this, sister? How you going to do this? If you and the man is going to get married, are you going to allow this guy to discipline the child or children that not his, or you draw a line right there? That's what some guys have a problem with, sisters. If you got small children. And you know one thing that guys, and here's a trigger. There are some children that would tell this man, you ain't my daddy. If the child tell this man, this sister, how you going to respond to it? If the child tell this man, you ain't my dad, I ain't got to do what you say do. Stuff like this happen. It's a reality. What you gonna do? Another thing that's sticky, sister, and I'm gonna get to this shortly. Are you going to allow this guy to discipline your child? You got to think about this, sister. If you and the man getting married, you got to really think about this, because this is a hot topic right here. Are you going to allow... Now, you see, the first thing that some women probably think, I ain't going to let no man whip my children. Discipline comes in all different types of forms. It comes in all type of different forms, sister. But if you get married now, especially if you move into this man house or whatever, it's going to be a conflict. It'll be a conflict, sister, if the man tell the child something and you come and overrule what the man say. That's going to be a problem. Because if you overrule what this man tell your child, if this per se is a good man, it's going to be some problems. Because you see, at that particular time, how you doing, Sister Diane? At this particular time, the children are going to lose more respect, because if you overrule what this man say, the children are going to get more disrespectful to the man and say, I ain't got to do nothing. You, not only are you not my dad, my mama said I don't have to do what you say. Chain said, I will not consider dating a man who have rude or disrespectful children or a child, and he doesn't want me to this because I am a woman who does. Amen. But I see your point, Sister Chain. Thank you. I see it. So, sister, if you let me all tell you something about two women that I dated in the past. Let me tell you all about this. Let me tell you. I'm gonna call it Exhibit A and Exhibit B. This one chick that I dated, Cole said, I am so glad my kids were at A after my divorce, call. What you were saying is so true. Thank you. Let me tell you this. Exhibit A. I was dating this lady, right? She had a son, and he was about he was in grammar school. I could be over to the house, This young man will come in, he'll just start talking to his mother. And his mother said, don't you see Tony here? And then he'll say, hey, and then start talking back to his mama. And I used to watch this young man, okay? I used to watch this young man. And so it was another guy that used to date the lady before I dated. And you see, one day this guy and I, we were talking, and this particular lady name came up, right? So he said, Tony, did you have any problem with her son? I said, what you talking about? And I could tell you this, my sisters and brothers. This guy, he could start a sentence off and I could finish it. Or I could start a sentence off and he could finish it. So she allowed her son to be rude to people and disrespectful. And I knew in my mind, whoever come in, they're going to have a problem with this boy child. And then let me give you another example. This other lady that I used to date, she had a child too, right? And this young lady, she was a teenager. This lady, the daughter, this lady, she had it going on. She had this one particular daughter, a teenager, right? She would do the same thing. She would come in and won't say nothing. She ran the house. And the lady, she wanted to get married, right? She wanted to get married. This before Cinderella came into the picture, a few years after before Cinderella. But anyway, and I'm glad I didn't get with this woman. So this young lady, the lady said this. She said, Tony, if we get married, you can move into my house and you can help me clean up and that. And I said, two things, I'm not going to move in your house. And then I said, secondly, what you mean by me moving in and help you clean up when you got that big teenager that should be cleaning up? Your daughter come in and put the plate in the sink and won't wash it. Her daughter didn't do nothing at all. And to top it off, her daughter would go in her room, the daughter room in the house. She would lock the door, and her mama had to knock on the door to get in. That's right. The mama had to knock on the door to get in. And I told that lady, I said, if you and I did get married, I said, before I marry you, first of all, I'm not going to move in your house. And I said, if we did get married, it's got to be when your daughter is gone. I'm not going to marry you when your daughter gone. Because I said, I know how I am. If your daughter tell me that I'm not her daddy, I knowing me, I said, I'm going to tell her I'm glad I'm not your daddy. That's what, and I said, since I know how I am, we ain't no get married. Because I said, if your daughter tell me I'm not the daddy, I'm going to say, I'm glad you aren't my daughter. Because my daughter don't talk to me the way you talk and behave to your mama. But that's another story. So let me tell you something, sister. It's all on you. It's all on you. If you dating a man and you have a child or children, okay? Because those children, now, I have dated some women that have some very respectful children. That was just two cases of the children running the mama, okay? But majority of the ladies that I would date and stuff, they all basically had 1 or 1.2 children. The children did not raise the hand to get here. That's my point. They didn't. And it's all predicated on how the woman controlled the children. You understand? And let me tell you this too, sister. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you got to watch when you date. As a matter of fact, sister, you should not be dating no man. You shouldn't even introduce your children to no man early. You know the reason why? Because those children can get attached to that man. He can get attached to them. I tell you, sisters, and don't have different men running through your home. You think those children don't know what's going on? They know what's going on. And then you want to tell those children what they should do right or wrong, but they're looking at you having different men come in. And you think just because you put your children in front of TV and tell them don't do nothing, and then you go in your bedroom and your children hear you moaning and groaning, and then they hear that man when he be about to pop the whistle go pop, and they know what's going on. How do you think your children view you, sister, when you have a men coming in and out and doing that kind of stuff with you? Some women don't think that their children got sent. Those children know what be going on. And I'm going to tell you this too, sister, some of you single sisters. Don't let men spend the night with you when you have some children. Don't let them spend the night. Don't do it. Those children know what's going on. When I was dating, I didn't want to really spend the night with no woman that got children. Because you see, I wouldn't want no woman, the children coming in there and see me in the bed with their mama early in the morning. No, that's inappropriate. Chantel said, when my daughter was growing up, I never had a revolving door of men around my child, and men did not stay over. That's what I'm talking about. Because let me tell you something, sister. You think that it's cool, right? You think it's cool when it's your boyfriend too, don't you? When you think of your boyfriend, you think it's something cool with that. It ain't nothing cool with that. Respect your child or children. Respect them. Number 7, some men will have an issue if the mother have the child or children as first priority if they get married. Now, this is another sticky point. This is another sticky point. Sister, where is the man going to be when he marry you? This is what some brothers talk about, but not all men. But this is what some brothers talk about on your priority list. Where is this man going to be as far as your thought process? Now, when this man, brother, if you coming into a situation with a woman and you planning on marrying this woman, if she got small children, you know she got to focus on them. It's just like if those were your natural children, brother. If your wife, you know if you got small children, the wife going to focus on those children. You know she's going to focus on them. But she know how to have you in your position. From a spiritual standpoint, so let me tell you this from a spiritual standpoint. If you decide to get married, you got to understand this. And this is going to be a hard pill to swallow. You got to understand this, sister. When you get married, let's just say that you married a man and those are his children. He's not the stepdad. Let's say that he's the natural father, okay, of the children. When you get married, you got to understand priority. The priority is God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. Man is the head of the woman. Do you understand that priority? This is if the man is the natural father of the children. He still come in before the children. You understand? You got to understand, sister, he come before the children. I'm not saying you neglect the child, but you're going to have to understand priority, okay? And I said this a few nights ago. Let's say for example, and this just a hypothetical. Who get the big piece of chicken? Does the man get fed first or the children get fed first? Most women would say the children get fed first. That's what most women would think. My children gonna eat first before he get fed. That's not proper, sister. The man get fed first and the children get fed after him. You understand? I know that's hard for some of you sisters to understand. Some understand what I'm saying. And it's just like this. If you get married to a man that is the stepfather, you got to understand this. It's this concept of bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. When this man marry you, sister, it's just like he's the natural father. The package deal. You got to understand priority. Don't get married if you're going to have your children higher than your husband. I know this is a bitter pill to swallow. And the same thing for the man. He can't have his mama first when he marry you. He can't have his children first when he marry you. He has to elevate you to a higher level after the Lord. That's priority. And your children got to understand it. Now, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, sister. If you have a problem with what I just said, it's better for you to have your children gone before you start dating. You made a decision, sister, when you had these children. If y'all hear some boom boom going on, some people still doing the 4th of July stuff. If you hear some, ain't no shooting now. It's just some people still doing the aftermath, okay? So I'm telling you, sister, if you're going to have a problem with this man being in his rightful place, if you look at it from the scripture standpoint, the man is the head of the relationship, even the stepfather. Let me tell you what the stepfather mean again. The stepfather is defined as a man who is the husband or partner of one's mother after the divorce or separation of one's parent or death of one's father. This is the stepfather, okay? So, sister, if you can't do it, you don't need to get married because there's going to be a conflict. So if you can't chew on that, it's going to be a conflict. Sister Cheryl said, everyone would eat together, but I would feed my husband first, then the kid. That's how it's supposed to go. That's exactly how it's supposed to go. And here go another point. Some men don't want to be liable to take care of the child or children if the relationship ends. That's a conversation that some men have too, sister, called men know. Not only is the divorce, not only when it comes to a divorce, the system is basically against the man when it comes to divorce the majority of the time. Most men that go to court, they get what is called divorce raped. Not all men, but a lot of men, they know that the law basically going to side with the woman. So, if this man marry you, sister, and he takes in these children, the children going to be the responsibility of the man. And some men, if they get a divorce, their thinking is, if my wife divorced me, why should I take care of the children if they're not mine? That's the mindset of some men. I'm just telling you how it is. That's the mindset why some guys, they would rather just play house with you or whatever because they be thinking that way. But I'm just bringing it out to let you know what's going on. Okay? I'm bringing it out. Question again. Should a man marry a single woman? Let's go to the Bible to get another glimpse of a situation. Luke 1, 27, 35. Again, remember this, Luke 1, 27, 25. Luke 1, 27, 25. We're going to talk about Mary. We're not talking about Mary had a little lamb, but we're going to talk about Mary. As you know, Jesus' mother. Jesus' mother. It's a virgin named Mary. She was engaged. Key word. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. Gabriel, he was one of the archangels. The archangels was Satan. His name used to be Lucifer. And then you have Gabriel. And then you have Michael. Those three are the archangels. They were high in rank. Gabriel mostly he was a messenger. God had other messengers, but Gabriel, he was the lead angel when it comes to messaging and communicating with man. It say Gabriel appeared to her and said, "Greetings, favored woman. The Lord is with you." This confused and it disturbed Mary. You know, I don't know what Mary doing, but can you imagine an angel that boop pop in front of you? Some of you all probably urinate on yourself when you see an angel, right? I probably would too. But anyway, she was confused and she was disturbed. Mary tried to think what the angel could mean. Now she thinking, right? And then the angel said, "Don't be afraid, Mary." He called her by her name. And the angel told her, that's Gabriel, he said, "For you have found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will call him Jesus. He will be great, and he will be called the Son of the Most High." Now check this out. Jesus will be called the Son of the Most High, because she was going to be overshadowed by the Holy Spirit. That's how she was going to conceive. If you go all the way back to Genesis, it talked about when Jesus was going to come. You know what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about. When Adam and Eve rebelled against God. When God talked, you know, he laid the punishment down on Adam and Eve. Then he dealt with the serpent. You see, he wasn't just talking to the snake. He was talking to Satan, because Satan would use the snake, okay? Satan's spirit entered into the snake. But this is what he told Satan. He said it's going to be impotent. It's going to be intimate, or whatever you call it. I said problem between you and the woman. Her seed and your seed. Your seed going to bruise his head. I mean, your seed is going to bruise his heel. And her seed is going to bruise your head. Okay, so what God would talk about was the crucifixion. When Jesus died on the cross, that represented bruising the heel. When Jesus rose up from the dead, that represented bruising the head. Because when Jesus rose from the dead, that smashed all of Satan's plans. So Jesus was foretold. His name was not there, but that's what God was talking about. Jesus was coming. That's why Satan always was attacking male children. When you look at the story of not King Solomon, but when you look at the story of Moses, remember all those babies got killed? Male babies? Satan knew something would happen, so he killed all the male babies. Moses got out of it. When Jesus was born, all the male children for 2 and above got killed, but Jesus got out of it, because the angel appeared to Joseph and took Jesus to Egypt. So the devil knew somebody would come, but he didn't know it was going to be the Lord himself coming. Let me finish reading this part. And the Lord would give him the throne of his ancestor, and he will reign over Israel forever. His kingdom will never end. Mary asked the angel, but how can this be? I'm a virgin. And her name was not Madonna. But Mary said, I am a virgin. And the angel replied, the Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. So the baby to be born will be holy, and he will be called the Son of God. Then it goes to Luke 1:38. Again, Luke 1:38. And this is how Mary responded to Gabriel. She said, I am the Lord's servant. May everything that you said about me come true. And the angel left her. Now, what do you get out of that? Stepfather. Joseph was not Jesus' father. He was the stepfather. You understand that? Joseph was not Jesus' father. God, the Father, was Jesus' father. When Jesus was born, if you understand this, my brother and sister, everyone come down that one bloodline from Adam and Eve. All of us, to tell you the truth, my brother and sister, all of us are related, because all of us come from Adam and Eve. So I don't have to pay no ancestry people to find out where I come from. The Bible tells me where I come from. My ancestor is Adam and Eve. I already know where I come from. So I ain't got to pay nobody to tell me where I come from. God's word tell me where I come from. Some of y'all be messing up. You be blowing your money away because you can go back just so far. You want to find out whether you are royalty and all that kind of stuff. Go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. That's where you come from. You come down from one blood. But while I'm talking about blood, Jesus could not come with no natural man because the blood was tainted. When Jesus came, he came with 100% pure blood. If you all do not know this, let me tell you something. Why do they have DNA tests? Why do they have DNA tests? To decide who is more likely to be the father, right? Let me tell you something, sisters. You don't have one drop of blood in your child. Check it out. The bloodline comes from the father. Sisters, I hate to tell you this, but you don't have not one drop of blood in your child. You have chromosome, you carry the child, but the child comes from the father, the bloodline. You understand? That's how God have it. All children come down from the father bloodline, not your blood. None of your blood, not one drop of your blood is in none of your children, sister. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but none of your blood is in your child. It's in the daddy. Your DNA and all that some of your chromosome and all that kind of stuff is in the child, and you carry the child, okay? Now, why did I say this? Because Joseph was Jesus' stepfather. And let me tell you something about what Joseph did. Meanwhile, Joseph, soon to be the husband, was in a dilemma. He was in a dilemma. You know why he was in a dilemma? Mary told him that she was pregnant. Now let's go back to that time. What happened? Do you not know that Mary could have got stoned for that? Do you all realize that? Can you imagine people walking around whispering about Mary? That was one of the talks that were going on. Just imagine. We talk about humans, okay? That was some gossip. Did you hear that Mary was pregnant? No, it's not in the Bible, but I'll tell you how humans act. You heard she's supposed to be engaged to Joseph, and she pregnant. She's supposed to be a virgin, and she walk around here talking about she a virgin. How can she be pregnant and she a virgin? That kind of stuff Mary had to deal with. Not only that, Joseph had to deal with it. Can you imagine what Joseph had to deal with? People saying, hey man, that she pregnant. Is it yours? Who baby is it? And then Joseph said, no, it's not mine. Well, it's somebody, baby. Whose is it? If it ain't yours. Oh, it's God. It's God, baby. Who? God. Can you imagine Mary telling people, oh, God, this is God, child? God, child? How? Come on, Mary. Tell us the truth. I'm telling you. This angel appeared to me. How he looked? What his name? They listened to Mary. They were probably like this. Now tell me that again, Mary. Who told you that? An angel. You talk about that? Did he have wings? No, he didn't have no wings. I thought that all angels have wings. So you telling me, Mary, you trying to tell me, Mary, that some angel flew in front of you and told you you're going to have a child. Mary, stop lying. But going on with the story, Matthew 1:18-20, it said, his mother Mary pledged to be married to Joseph. We talk about Jesus, okay? But before you came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, the husband-to-be, was faithful to the law. We're talking about the law, okay? And yet did not want to expose her to public disgrace. You see, Joseph was thinking about if he make a decision to cancel the engagement, it was going to look bad for Mary. It was going to look bad for Mary because not only did he pull away from marrying her, she was going to be a mother raising a child by herself. You understand? She was going to be a single mother. So Joseph was thinking about it. He said, I got to. And can you imagine Mary coming telling Joseph that? And Joseph probably said, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. You can't tell me that. It got to the point where God had to do something about it. And this is what God did. You see, it said he had in mind to divorce her quietly. He wasn't going to make it a public thing. It was going to be quietly. And they said, but after he considered this, guess what happened? An angel of God appeared to him in a dream and said, you see how God did this? God had to interject and talk to Joseph while he was asleep. An angel appeared in his dream And it was crystal clear, because this is what the angel said. He called him by name. He said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. And then it goes on to Matthew 1:24. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. What was Joseph? Joseph was the stepfather. As a matter of fact, if you all not realize this, Mary and Joseph had 4 sons after Jesus and some daughters. It did not say how many daughters, but it said daughter with an S on it. So check it out. When you get time, Google it and say, how many brothers did Jesus have and what they name? Go to Google. It's going to tell you where in the gospel to find Jesus' brother's name, but his sister's name is not there. It just says sister with an S, which means plural. So Joseph and Mary had children after Jesus, but Joseph was the stepfather. Jesus obeyed his stepfather. You understand? Jesus, when they went to Jerusalem to this festival, they left going back to their where they stayed at, right? They walked for 3 days, and they thought that Jesus was walking with their kin, people, or friends. After 3 days, then they started looking for Jesus. They had to go back to Jerusalem looking for Jesus. When they found Jesus, he was in the temple being questioned by these wise men. Jesus was 12. They came to him and said, why you did us like this? Don't you know we were looking for you? You know what Jesus said? I was doing my Father's business. So what would Jesus talk about? His Father was God. God told Jesus to do what he did at 12. But what did the Bible say Jesus do? Jesus submitted himself to Joseph and Mary, even though he was the Lord of glory. That's called respect. You understand? So, Joseph being the stepfather, and let me tell you this, sister, you better not try this on no men today. Talk about God, Gabriel came to you and you have a child. You better not try that on these brothers. You better not try it. Gabriel already blew his horn. Jesus already came, so none of you sisters ain't about to have Jesus no more. So it won't work. It won't work for you all, because some of you probably saying, all I have to do is tell him that an angel appeared to me and I'm about to have a child. Nope, you don't use that. Don't use that, sister, because he definitely gonna know Jesus already came, and you're not. Your name is not Mary. You're not married to Joseph, and God did not send no angel to tell you about to have no child. Now, should a man marry a woman, a single mother? If a man decides to marry a single mother, check this out. He is a very special man. If a man decides to marry a woman, a single mother, he's a very special man. Very special. Because if this man marries a single woman, hopefully he look at that woman and her child as a package deal. He realized that the children were there before him. He realized that those children respect him. How did he know the children respect him? When he was presented to them. How the children behaved in front of him. How they addressed him. And they respected him. Most men would be hesitant to get into a relationship with a woman if he having friction with the children. You understand? So brothers, let me tell you this. It's nothing wrong with marrying a single woman. That's what you all want to hear? I asked the question, should a man marry a woman that's a single mother? Brother, there's nothing wrong with marrying the right single mother. That's the kid or the catcher. You can marry the right single woman. It's very rare, brothers, that you're going to meet a virgin. Sisters, it's very rare that you're going to meet a man that's a virgin. Because most of the time when you meet people, they have already had sex with somebody or somebodies with an S on it. Most people got a sexual history. Most people that get married have sex before they get married. Let's be real. Most people that get married, they already had sex. You think majority of people wait till they get married to have sex? Nope. Majority of them don't. They go ahead and do their thing, then they get married later on. Most of the time. But, brother, I'm telling you, especially those of you that already have a child or children, how can you be a hypocrite and you got a child by another woman? How can you be a hypocrite, brother, if you got more than one child out there? Let's say some of you brothers that got a problem with a woman that got children by different men. But some of you brothers, you got children by different women. And you want to raise the bar up and say that this woman, she very promiscuous. Look at you, brother. Now, I'm not blasting you, brother. I'm not siding with your women. I'm just talking facts. Sister Chang Chang said the key is connecting to the right man, the right woman. Amen, sister. You're right. So you understand what I'm saying, my brother. You understand, my sister. This man got to be a very special man. It's nothing wrong with a man marrying a single woman, because more than likely she's gonna have 1.5 children. Now the best thing I could suggest, brother, this is just a suggestion. Hopefully, if you decide to marry the woman, the better situation would probably be if they like teenagers or something like that. That's the best situation, because she's going to have to give more of her time for them when they are younger. You got to understand that, brothers, okay? But the best scenario probably if they teenagers or something like that, okay? But if she got small children, you got to understand it, brother, that she going to have to spend time with her children. Just like she spent children if they were your natural child. That's how it is, brother. So they come as a package. And brother, you can't think about what the public think about you. If you marry a woman that got children by different fathers, that happens. Sometimes that happens. How many women that you got pregnant with? You got different women that got different children. Some of your brothers. Like I tell you, my sisters and brothers, if you don't believe me, go on YouTube. After we get finished, go on YouTube. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Go on YouTube and put down there something like single mothers. Or now put down there dating single mothers. And you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff where it's a lot of guys, they against what I'm saying. They don't want nothing to do with women, but they'll sleep with them. That's one thing they'll do. They'll sleep with them, but they don't want to marry them. But they will sleep with them. They don't say that they won't sleep with them. They'll sleep with them, but they don't want to marry them. Okay? But remember, brothers, is nothing wrong with that, because Jesus loved children. And I'm going to close it out by telling you this. Again, as it is written in Mark 10, 13, 14, the people brought the little children to Jesus for him to place his hand on them and pray for them. But the disciples rebuked them. And Jesus said, let the little children come to me and do not hinder them. Jesus said, don't hinder them. Let them come. For the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. The kingdom of heaven belongs to children, as well as you grown people when you accept Christ. When he had placed his hand on them, he went away. And then Matthew 18:10, Jesus said this. Jesus, the Lord of glory. Jesus said, see that you do not despise these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven. For some of you brothers, they have this secret thing against these children. When the mama goes somewhere, you thumping at her children upside their head and doing all kinds of stuff. You better stop playing with some of these children, because the Lord got angels that if the Lord get a word, these angels will cut you down. You understand? You got to understand, you can't play with children. You could play with them in a nice way, but you don't do nothing nasty to them, because I'm telling you, the Lord might allow you to do it, but you're going to get paid for it. Whatever you sow, you reap. He's going to get you. And you don't want God angels to get you. They could cause you to lose your job. They could cause you to get killed. They could cause you to go to jail. Cause God will set you up because you planted something. You understand? You planted something. That's right. God sees it all. So it's nothing wrong, brothers. It's nothing, sister. Always remember this. Brothers and sisters, no matter how your child came into this world, they did not say, I want to come into the world. There was a man and a woman, whether they were married or they were single, they had sex. The man ejaculated in the woman. The best Olympic swimmer, he got to the egg closed. She was conceived. She got pregnant. Not one child asked to come here. Not one. No child did not raise his or her hand to come into this world. No matter how they came, whether the mom and dad were married or single, the children had nothing to do with it. You made a choice, brother. You made a choice, sister, when you laid down and did the grown folk stuff. Because the Lord don't make no mistakes at all. The Lord don't make no mistake. Children ain't no mistake. The children not no mistake. The mistake was when y'all wanted to have sex. That was the mistake. So what God do? God said, okay, y'all want to do this? I got something for you. And with that said, my brothers, with that said, my sisters, I'm about to go out. I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sisters. Some of you all got to go to work tomorrow, but your brother Tony don't have to do it. I don't do my thing until Wednesday. So I'm going to have me a good sleep tonight. I'm going to go back there and roll Cinderella on her head and wake up. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. You all have a good night. Peace out.